right. Welcome in to Tuesday's Tips with Keisha. Today's conversation is going to be protecting your assets. Protecting your assets. There's a lot of things going on. So I just want you all to be aware that people are changing jobs or wanting to change jobs or wanting to change careers. They're looking it's almost looking like 2008 for us, right? Is what actually is going on. That's what it's looking like. Y'all remember, for those of that's old enough to remember 2008 and where the country was. Hey, Sheldon. Well, the issue is that we're kind of right back there now with the government shutdown, the social services being taken away, jobs not being secure, um, all the things that's happening in your world, in your city, in your home. Well, I was on our call this morning. Afterwards, we stayed a little bit longer to have a conversation. And the conversation was basically, a young lady had been in teaching for a while and she wanted to transition and go with her passion. So she wants to go from being an employee um, to self employed. Now, if you've ever read the book Rich Dad Poor Dad by Robert Kiyosaki, Rich Dad Poor Dad by Robert Kiyosaki, it is a book that talks about. It's got the four quadrant. So on the left side is 95% of Americans that are either employees, which means you get in a W-2, or you're self-employed, which either you're 1099 or you own, you provide a service, right? So, regardless, but that's 95% of Americans. But generally, that 95% of Americans are also getting some type of social services from the government. Well, when the government shuts down, what ends up happening is social services get done away with, all those things. But then on the right hand quadrant is 95% of the wealthy. They are business owners which means that they have a process. They usually have employees, but they have a system that works, like in distribution, um, and or they are investors. Now, the best way to explain this is basically is explaining it that if the tax code is written for the right side, business owners and investors, why not be on the right side? So that's what we're going to talk about today, is protecting your assets. So over the last couple of weeks, I've been doing hey KB, how are you? I've been doing some different networking events for women in wealth. We will be running about $1 trillion in the next 5 years. It's been a while since I've been on live. Yes. So with that, we have $1 trillion that we will be having in management of assets. Women are better investors than men because we stay when we shouldn't. We stay longer than we have to. But anywho, hey D-Mac, how are you? Welcome in. But we're talking about changing our mindset to go from self-employed to investors, and to go from the left side of the four quadrant in the book Rich Dad Poor Dad to the right side of the quadrant. I'm gonna have to find that screenshot and bring that up, and so we can kind of talk about it as a screen. Don't forget to come in, KB, like, heart, all the things that we do will come into the room. I'm grateful that you're here. We are live in my YouTube channel, The Forever KJ, as well as on here and in Clubhouse under the Thriveverse. So let's talk about it. So you've worked 48 years. So 18, you start working. Hey, Gaza. Welcome, Damon. Welcome, everyone. 18, you start working. You work for 30 to 40 years because you had a good government job, which 300,000 Black women lost recently, and they're still laying people off. Um, and then you retire. Okay. Some of us don't even get to work the 30 years in that good government job. I got injured back in 2020 and ended up losing my career after about 8 years of working for metropolitan city in which I live in. I will be getting and a new knee and a couple of more surgeries that I've had to have because of the way the job was. My pension will be $1,000 a month. Now, if I didn't have a business system, if I didn't have other sources of income coming in, I wouldn't be able to live off $1,000 a month. So, what happens when you've worked somewhere, you've built your 401k up, you have your personal IRA somewhere else, and you had a job that had good benefits? And good benefits means they offer life insurance, health insurance, and a retirement plan. They dangle the carrot in front of you. Well, let me tell you what happens. So, when this happens to you, and the average woman has about $50,000 in her 401k by the time it's time for her to retire. Guess what? We can't retire for $50,000. That's not even an annual income that people are living comfortable off of right now. But let's just say you done really great. You started early. Somebody told you about the rule of 72 and different things like that. And now you are leaving your job and you need to take the 401k with you. You have a certain amount of time before they start pulling out there's fees that go along with it. So what I'm currently in the process of doing is enjoying teaching people how to get on the right side of wealth. Um, as I am working towards my, I think I'm going all the way to certified financial planner just because it makes sense. And that's being able to do your trust, your wills. But these are the four things that you need. Hey, Chosen. These are the four things that you have to start off with. A budget. If you ain't got a budget right now, baby, Christmas gonna be hard because y'all gonna run up credit cards and gonna be taking out cash loans and different things like that. So we need a budget. Hey, America Supermom, welcome. Um, we need a savings account, emergency fund, 3 to 6 months. And as we saw with COVID, we may need like up to 18 months of your household expenses. You need to work on living below your means and live and save, right? Save for your future self. So they say that women should save about 15% in or in some type of investment account because number one, we live longer than men, we do better in investments, and we live longer than men. And we are the most educated, most degreed, but we have the least amount of net worth. Crazy, huh? And why is this? It's because nobody is talking to the middle class family. Nobody is coming to save you. And if you're not able to do the research, if you're not able to do the research on your own and get into the programs that can help you, that's where I come in and people on my team come in to help sit down and go over what we call the Don method to see what you need to just start your bare minimum of your financial house. But let's just say right now you've lost that job. You lost that good government job that had that 401k. Pensions are going away. They are finna be a thing of the past. So now what do you do with that retirement fund that you had? If you let it sit, it can start making, it's no longer being funded by that company that you no longer work for. And also, it is, it could start accumulating fees. So what you thought you had in there, you might not have in there. So if you leave a job that has a retirement that package to it, please talk to someone about moving it where you can, it can still grow, it can still be a part of your financial portfolio. This is not giving any type of investment advice. This is just having a conversation about where we are now and where we need or would like to be in the future. For me personally, I want to leave a legacy. And the way that I'm doing that is I'm already starting a fund for my grandchildren as soon as I can. And then I pay my future self first because I now work for myself. So I pay my future self first. And then I go, oh, this budget thing was the hardest thing I had to do, y'all. I do not like being told what to do with my money. But if I don't tell my money what to do, it becomes lazy money and I spend it and I'm not saving. And then times like this happen and I can't help those that are closest to me because I didn't teach them the same principles that I've learned. So let's talk about it. You have a, let's say you have $1 million saved in your 401k because you did the right thing. Somebody told you about savings early and you have $1 million. Well, we got to account for inflation over however many more years you're going to be before you can start taking it out. Then we have to count for the tax bracket you're going to be in at that time. You're not going to have $1 million. They're going to hit you with a 30%, 23 to 30% in taxes because they got us because they told us that that was a tax safe investment because it's pre-taxed money. But Uncle Sam ain't gonna let that money go untaxed the whole entire time. So when it's time for you to withdraw it, that's when he's gonna hit you with the taxes. A lot of people don't have this conversation. So now I'm having to have this conversation because we're now dealing with our aging parents, right? My mom worked for the government. She retired actually twice. She had to pay back her 401k to fully retire at her retirement age. She's been retired for 5 years. Now she's talking about going back to work. Crazy that my 68-year-old mother is considering going back to work because of the society we live in now. She cannot afford to stay retired. That hurts. So, my goal, my why for having this conversation every Tuesday is so I can retire my mom, truly retire my mom. And when I say retire her, I mean give her a check. The check that she was getting, I want to give her that check. Thank you, big dog. I want to be able to provide her a level of comfort to where she doesn't have to drive because I found out her eyesight is not that good no more. Um, where we can have a car service. So when she needs to go somewhere, I can do that for her. I'm doing well, sir. We're having a conversation about protecting your assets, um, especially when you left a job. Thanks, Tig. When you left a job and you have a 401k, making sure you move it in a certain amount of time so you don't start getting hit with fees. And so my mom is now my big why. It used to be my granddaughter till I found out how bad my mom is doing or will be doing in the next 3 to 5 years. I don't want to see my mom suffer in her later years. I want her to be able to say, Keisha, I want to go to New York and see a Broadway play. All right, let's go. I want to be able to do that. But if we're not investing in ourselves, if we're not taking care of our finances in now, And men, y'all should do 10%. Y'all should take 10% and invest. So, yes. So, if we're not doing it now, and I'm 50, I know what my number is. For me to retire, I need $1 million. I need about $3 million in the bank to live comfortably. I need 3 million. How am I going to get 3 million, you ask? I have a system, I have a business, I have things into place. I'm investing. So I'm on the right side of the quadrant, the cash flow quadrant from the book Rich Dad Poor Dad by Robert Kiyosaki. Now it's a great read. I say give it to Think and Grow Rich. Give it to your junior and seniors in high school, your nieces and nephews. Go to your local bookstore. They have them there all the time, used, and so let them start thinking like the wealthy things. So when you start having a conversation at 16, oh, let's put 10% of your money or 15% of your check. Savings is a muscle. We don't just one day grow up and say, oh, I know how to save. No, we have to train that muscle like we train our biceps and all the other muscles in our body. We have to train our saving muscle. So if we start teaching our children very early on how to save and where to put their money, and if you don't know, talking to someone like myself, my broker, when I become a broker, I'll be able to do the plans for you myself, which is my goal to have that in the next 3 months, 6 months at the latest, because it takes some time to take those tests. But if you don't have those things in plan, or you've never sat down and done a dime method to see if you have the proper protection, because you are your biggest asset. Whoever counts on you, be it you pay daycare for your grandchildren, you are the nanny at the pickup line, and you need to pay somebody to do that because you're running a business. I'll be the first to raise my hand. When you're doing all of the things that you are tedious in doing and you're not paying attention to where your money is, you have lazy money, guess what? Your children will learn how to have lazy money. So we're breaking habits. And we're making good new ones, right? We don't just break them and throw them away. We make something new out and beautiful out of it. So I love the fact that I get to talk to average and ordinary people. They'll be like, Keisha, where do I start? Start with $25. We blow $25. We blow it. Y'all probably already done it this today. Anybody go to Starbucks? That's $15 easily. Hit McDonald's up. Guess what? They're in the distribution game, and they're everywhere. So the bigger the distribution, the more people they reach, the more money they make. So I listened to this multi-million-dollar lady yesterday, and she was given the averages of how many McDonald's there were to Burger King and Wendy's. The difference was crazy astronomical. And even Chick-fil-A. It was like it's 150,000 McDonald's and like only 7,000 Burger King or something crazy. Y'all, why aren't we doing this with our own community? When are we going to get back to community economics, where we get together and we build each other up and we move it, and then we go to help the next family and we move it? Do it within your family. Get a family trust. Everybody put in. Then you ain't got to worry about GoFundMe's, because millennials are the highest in GoFundMe's. And did y'all know you don't get all your money from a GoFundMe account? But that's how they're doing funerals instead of getting life insurance. And they're probably the easiest to get insured at a cheaper rate. Crazy. I just did a quote for a young lady who's 41, who has 3 children, and for under $50, she can have life insurance for her and her children. That's her beginning. She bought a house. She needs more than that, what she needs, but we have to start her somewhere. We have to start somewhere. So the basis is cover yourself. So the rule is um, you take dime, the word dime, and you write it down, and then you do uh, so DEATH. I don't. So when you pass away, what is that funeral cost? You write that number down, and it's like, what do you make a year? Then you times that by 10, because 85% of widows will lose their home. Widows or widowers will lose their home in the first year of a spouse passing away because they're not prepared. They're underinsured. Then you have the M, which is your mortgage or monthly rent. So if it's your mortgage, it's what you left owed on it. If it's your rent, take your rent times 12, and that you need at least that, because you need your family needs to be able to properly grieve. And they can't do it if they have expenses, which is the E. So E can be expenses or education. Mm-hmm. So if you have children and you want to send them to college, great, fine. Or just start them universal investment account. You would need to speak to a financial advisor for that. Someone that has their securities license that can do the proper investments. If you need someone and you would like to talk to someone, please just message me and I will get you in contact with my broker. And that account goes up to 18, so you can fund it. If you have businesses, it's a tax, it's a gift tax write-off. Talk to your CPA and see how much you can write off. But yeah, it's education or expensive. If I was to no longer be here today and something happens to me, my daughter has 5 businesses that she has to figure out how to run. I am prepared. I'm preparing to have everything written out to where she can at least go out and hire someone to run my travel agency. You just need another travel agent, or just sell my book of business. That's an easy fix. My ABC business, she probably will let that go because that's a service that I provide. She does not do anything in libations. My notary will expire with me, and of course, um, my financial literacy business. She does not desire to get licensed in the industry. So actually, my broker will be able to take my book of business and still continue to help families. So it is amazing that we do not utilize the resources we have. We don't have the conversations. We do not think about what our future retirement looks like. What is your number? If I say I need 3 million because I know what I want to do, right? I know I want a driver. I want to be able to travel where I want to travel. I need $3 million in the bank to retire. But just say you want $1 million. At 50, I'll be 50 in 40 days. At 50, I need to save $2,500 a month to retire as a millionaire at 65. So that gives me 15 years. So let's say I want to retire at 65. I don't want to physically work anymore at 65. If I save $2,500 a month, I can do that. You just got to know what the number is. Retirement is no longer an age. And y'all are leaving your assets. If you have left a job that has a 401k and you have not gone back and moved that money, please reach out to me today. Let's do it. Grab your paperwork, give me a call. Let's do it. We need to make sure your assets are saved, because a lot of people now are tired of working for other information. Thank you, Erica. Other people, and they're looking to transition to their passion where they feel like they're no longer working. Thank you for my daily heart, me. But if you're transitioning to being an employee, to self-employed to an investor, that's amazing because stylists all the time, the things that hurt them, their feet, their back, and then they get carpal tunnel. Well, if they're not unable to perform those styles and do your hair, do whatever it is that you do, guess what? They're not making any money. And God forbid they get sick or have to have a surgery of any kind. No way. But if I told you at 20 years old, if I told you at 20 years old, all you had to say was $61 and you could be a millionaire at 65, sign me up. Coach, put me in. Like, somebody didn't tell me that. They left that out of my econ class. Did they leave it out of yours? Yeah, I mean, crazy. So then let's think about it. Millennials and Zillennials, or Zillennials, Gen Zs, and Millennials, they don't want to work to 65. So guess what? Double that up at 20. You still living at home? I wish I would have known this information before my children were 18 because I grew up in the era of 18 and out. You want to be grown? Get on out there and be grown. They would stay at home until they had at least $500,000 saved up. We would live together because we would have grown our family trust so big that when they got ready to move out, they could buy their home for their family and everything. Even 50K. We ain't even got to go as big as $1 million. But if they could save 50K and leave home, do you know what kind of financial head start you've given them? I'm on my way. Don't tell me that. Don't tell me that. I can come on out. But that's the amazing part about it, is that we're now having the conversation because guess what? There are hundreds of thousands of people that are finna make some major changes in the next 60 days. And guess what? No one is having the conversation of how to make the transition. Save your assets by transferring them over to where you can manage them more. Invest in yourself, get you a budget, live below your means. If you can find partnership with someone and y'all can grow this thing to be amazing, oh my gosh, like, let's set the next generation up for success. Now, do want to tell you, if you are interested in this type of financial workshop in the beautiful Puerto Rico, please join me January the 7th through the 11th. It is $1,000 per person, double occupancy room. You can email me at masterpiecevacations@gmail.com, or you can visit www.theforeverkj.com, and I will send you the flyer and the money link, and let's grow this thing together. So until next Tuesday, this is Tips with Keisha, and we'll talk again. Thank you for joining. I appreciate you, Supermom. All right. Thank you, Erica.
You're welcome. We celebrated. You see that cake?
I did. I saw it. Like, what? I was like,
cake, honey.
We eating cake.
Cake.
So,
no, serious. Serious. You want to serious about Tulsa now? We can. There's lots of land in Tulsa that